Make some room and get a good seat as we will glide into this show. Celebrate all the goals as Joe, Jerry, and I poke home all the best highlights. Get ready for some fun. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro, and I'm wearing my purple in honor of the Vikings tonight. So we hope we're bringing them a win.
They get the Monday night game, and by
do.
bringing it up, I'm sure that Shapiro has just jinxed them.
No.
Certainly, if they fall to the Bears, it's got to be his fault. We got plenty of stuff to talk about here that is not Vikings related, but a lot of Coon Rapids Cardinal action, as well as a couple of co-ops that we start the program with. The two hockey teams start with the boys hockey team. They started the season with 6 of their first 7 games on home ice. They will now hit the road for 7 of their next 8. It's just the way the schedule worked out. The final 2 home games in this early stretch were both at Crick this past week, inside on Thursday and outside on Saturday. Up first was Armstrong Cooper. Both teams were 2-3. The Wings were coming off back-to-back losses against top 10 teams where they had been outscored 11-1. SLPCR jumping on a Wings mistake to start the scoring. Andrew Clark with the takeaway, feeds Jackson Engberg in the slot. He slings it past the keeper, extends his scoring streak to 6 games to start the season. Wings had a pair late in the first, but SLPCR answers on the power play in the second. Good patience up top. Shot is stopped. But Caden Sukup puts the rebound into a wide open net, tied at 2. Armstrong Cooper answers less than a minute later, 4-on-4 off a face-off win. They put it on a tee for Nicholas Anderson, and his one-timer puts the Wings back in front. 3-2 going to the third. Just over a minute into the final frame, another takeaway for Andrew Clark, another setup, and another finish for Engberg, his second of the game, and we're tied at 3. Armstrong Cooper takes the lead back on the power play. Again, shot on the rush is stopped. Huge block on the rebound. But eventually they get it to the back to the point. Tanner Cassidy gets it through the traffic. That's the eventual game winner. SLPCR able to generate some good chances, but not able to find another tying tally. Good look for Engberg off the blocked shot, but Melcha is able to find it and cover it. Wings hold on for the 4-3 win.
Well, Saturday was Hockey Day, Coon Rapids, and it was featured a full day of games on the CTN outdoor rink. The headline event was the boys team hosting 15th-ranked Champlain Park. The Rebels were coming in off their first loss of the season, and the SLPCR squad was hoping to add to their misery. Doesn't take long for the home team to strike. And who else? Jackson Engberg pokes it past the defender, and he's in on a breakaway. He keeps his scoring streak alive, 7 straight games with a goal to start the season. SLPCR strikes again on the rush. Final minute of the first, Teddy Wackman out of the corner to Brody Herzog, right at the top of the crease. His 4th of the season makes it 2-0 after 1. We move to early in the second. Face-off win for Caden Lichter. Andrew Clark has time to pick his spot and deliver. SLPCR being outshot, but up 3-0 going into the third. Rebels have battled back in the final frame, but the home team able to answer each time. Caden Alfred's goal with 7 minutes left made it 4-2 SLPCR. Champlain Park on the power play just 2 minutes later, and they find a good shooter in a good spot. Carson Anderson scores, and the Rebels are back within the 1. But that lasted less than 30 seconds. Face-off win in the offensive end. Quick shot to the net. Big rebound by Caden Lichter. Gets their first to put into the gaping cage. That turned out to be the winner. Champlain Park score one more late. SLP holds on for the 5-4 win.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you and Jerry obviously were there. I was not, but nice to get the win.
Huge win.
Yeah, and it must have been a lot of fun to be at.
I did not look back at the history of Spring Lake Park, but I'm going to guess it's been a while since they beat the Rebels. I know it's been a very long time for a Coon Rapids team to beat Champlain Park, so that part of it was fun. But also, you know, with this, when you saw the schedule, it came out, they had those 3 games to start the season where it looked like, you know, they had a chance to get some momentum. St. Louis Park maybe better than a lot of people thought. Kind of disrupted it. So going into this one, of their 6 games at home to start the season, they only had 1 win in their first 5. Big to get that second one and at least finish 2-4 during that stretch, because home sweet home's going to seem a long ways away over the next week or month.
No question.
They are at Rogers, and that's the other thing. Not only are they going on the road, they've got more tough competition. They're at Rogers on Thursday. Rogers currently, I think, number 7. Then they're at Jefferson on Saturday. They got Minnetonka in the not-too-distant future as well. Girls hockey team started the week with a road trip to Dick Vra Arena in Osseo last Tuesday. The OPC team came in at 3-5-2. They were winless in their last 3, but they kept every game close, and CPCR squad would have to battle if they wanted to get back on the winning track. OPC had the only tally of the first period. Face-off win on the power play of Ashlyn Hoffman with a great tip on the shot by Charlotte Olajar. Home team on the board less than 5 minutes in. That score holds until late in the second. CPCR applying a lot of pressure. Sydney Brnovik pokes home a rebound, and the game was tied at 1. CPCR on the power play less than 2 minutes later. Lily McKenzie working toward the slot. Gets poked away, but right to Tessa Bowden. She rips a wrister top shelf. CPCR has its first lead, 2-1 after 2. They maintain their momentum into the final frame, creating a little chaos in the crease. Brnovik pokes home her second of the game. That gives CPCR a little breathing room. And they add another less than 90 seconds later. Tessa Bowden weaving her way through the slot. She nets her second of the night. That completed the scoring. CPCR cruising to the 4-1 win.
The girls went into their Hockey Day Coon Rapids matchup looking for their 4th win in 5 games. They weren't about to look past Elk River, but the Elks had absolutely no answer for the CPCR top line, and the girls posted the most dominant win of the season so far. CPCR controlled start to finish, and sophomore sensation June Semling put on a show. She starts the scoring on a breakaway midway through the first. Speed kills. I'll tell you, Semling has plenty of that. She also has tenacity. She wins the puck battle for this one and in alone again. It's 2-0 after the first. And Semling was just getting started. Less than 30 seconds into the second, she walks in from the top of the circle and buries another one, completing the natural hat trick. The Elk River goalkeepers actually kept them in the game, but CPCR keeps coming. Lily McKenzie walking straight down the slot, making it look easy. CPCR up 4-0 after 2. What was it I said about speed? Semling with another breakaway. This time goes for the backhand for her 4th of the night. A little scary the way she slid into the board, but she was okay. Less than 5 minutes to play. Sydney Brnovik showing her wheels down the wing. Gets the corner, but the goalie comes up with a big save. McKenzie is there to finish on the rebound. Puts the game into running time. But there was enough time for one more. Senior Isabel Roca able to win the race and get behind the defender. Roca scores on the backhand. First of the season, completes the scoring. 7-0 the final. Nice, obviously dominating win for the girls. You guys were there again.
They outshot them 51-8.
Yikes.
And that is not an overestimation. I mean, they absolutely owned the puck. You felt a little bad because this team desperately, as good as they've been, they desperately need depth scoring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Desperately.
Absolutely.
I mean, they score 7, 6 of them on that top line, and all of their top line girls with 4 or more points in the game. Tessa Bowden getting a couple of goals in the game on Tuesday night was big. They need to find a consistent way to get scoring from lines 2 or even 3. But that top line is so good, and they are so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But that team, neither of those teams really belong on the same ice.
No, definitely not.
However, they do put teams on their schedule that will test them throughout. They are at Blaine on Tuesday, always a tough matchup with the Bengals. And then they're home on Saturday to take on Minnetonka and Howie.
We'll be there.
All right, wrestling team, we talked about it. Got the season started with a visit by Anoka, possibly one of the best teams they'll see all season long. Well, how do you bounce back from that loss? Seeing the golden shoes in your building, not being able to keep them there, you get yourself on a winning streak. That's what you do. The Cardinals went out on Friday last week. Or no, that was Thursday, the 12th. They went and did a tri-meet at Rogers, slipping past the Royals 35-32. Look at all the pins. It was a pin parade. Zhang, Hibbler, Bridenstine, Fisher, and Penaloza all notching Max on the mat. Kostic had a tech fall. Then against Armstrong, a little more dominant in that win. And again, a bunch of pins. You got 5 pins for SLP, or I'm thinking everybody should be SLPCR. For Coon Rapids, it's just Coon Rapids, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
So then on Saturday, they go to St. Agnes in St. Paul for a tournament. First time they've ever been to the St. Agnes Invitational. Some different competition that they're used to facing, and they definitely held their own. Beat Faribault 57 to, it's faster than I am. 57-15, and then 45-24 over Pine City Hinckley, 54-19 over Rochester John Marshall, 47-26 over Cannon Falls. And they finish it off with a win, 45-29 over St. Agnes in the championship. And there you see it, 3 guys finishing 5-0 in that stretch. Chang, Bridenstine, and Skillings. 2 pins for Chang, 4 each for Bridenstine and Skilling. 4 other guys that were 4-1. That's a happy, happy Saturday for this wrestling team. And I'll add to it, because while they were in St. Paul, the girls team, the Lady Cardinals, were over at a wrestling tournament of their own in Hopkins, the Athena Invitational, and they got 4 place winners, right?
Yep, 4.
So it was Jacqueline Shear, a first place finish at 190. Sasha Olsen, a second place finish at 235. Madison Marquis at 106. And possibly my favorite name of all time, Ray Turgopolatoba.
Easy for you.
I had it before the show started. Turgopolatola.
I love it.
I love it. It's a great name. Either way, very busy weekend for the wrestling team, but
very successful weekend.
Yeah, 7 wins for the boys, and the girls doing very well at their first tournament of the year.
Love to see it.
Gymnastics team got its season started, had a tri-meet or a double duel of their own last week, had 3 meets essentially last week, starting out against Rogers. We talked about it. Rogers is very good. We did not get complete results of this. The Cardinals did score a 112.075. Those are your top finishers in every event, and pretty much it's Callie Barker and Angel Marshall pulling the weight for the Cardinals so far early on. Roller also factoring in as the second best score on the beam. Then that was on Thursday, and then on Saturday they had the double duel against Andover Blaine and also Centennial. They're going to lose to both, but about that same score, a little over 112. Andover Blaine put up a 127.375. Callie Barker, top finisher again in most events, but getting a little more contribution. Ross had some nice scores in some of the events. Angel Marshall again, as well as Roller, and I want to say it's Bethany, but I'm probably wrong. I'll get it right next time. And then as you see, you flip over to Centennial. Centennial didn't score quite as well, so all of the top scorers there, but their places improved a little bit when you put them up against the Centennial girls.
Yeah, still looking for that 120. I know that's the way they'd like to.
You got to build. You got to start somewhere.
You got to build to it.
We start at 112. We got room to grow.
Yes.
Room to grow. They are also going to have some time off. They have they're at Maple Grove on Tuesday this week. Then they're off for about a little more than 3 weeks until January the 9th when they are at Elk River. Swimming and diving team had the Northwest Suburban Conference relays over the weekend. This is an event where they have some different races, some relays that don't normally exist. What it really isn't scored in a traditional sense, just gives the teams, their coaches, a little bit better idea of what they have to work with. And with more on what we can expect from this year's Cardinal squad, we bring in Jerry Grant, who visited with the team last week.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. The foundation of any team is a philosophy, and the Coon Rapids Totino Grace boys swimming and diving head coach Haley Shaw believes being part of this team is more than winning races. It's about teaching boys to become successful young men. This philosophy provides the framework for winning in life and in the pool. I caught up with Shoal and her captains, and they shared their thoughts on this and their hopes for this season.
We try to put things like leadership, respect, sportsmanship on a really high pedestal here. Those are things that we strive for all the time. And our boys have met those goals every chance I've given them. We last year had multiple coaches from other teams, parents, officials commending us on our sportsmanship and how connected those boys are, how much they support each other. And those are things I'm so proud of them for.
So she's trying to instill in us a sense of respect amongst each other. So like before we get out of pool, we'd fist bump each other, congratulate each other. And if someone's feeling down, even if it's from another team, one or two guys will go and try and help the other person feel better and talk to them about it.
From my understanding, I feel like swimming can teach you like not to give up on things, like always keep going. Even if the times are rough, just keep pushing yourself and eventually you'll get there. During races, you feel like giving up, but you know that people are always cheering for you, so you just gotta keep going until you get to the end. And when you know you're at the end, then you can finally breathe, relax, know that you did it, and feel proud.
That's really a big thing here because we're not just trying to win, we're trying to get to know each other and just work together as a team. And I mean, the old saying, there's no I in team. We gotta all work together. And sometimes that's difficult, but we make it work.
For this team, success begins beyond the pool and then enters the competition in the water.
For us, a successful season is one where, one, the boys have fun. For me, that is so important. Two, I want those boys to find success in their own skills. I want them to set goals and do their best to accomplish those goals. And if they meet those goals, great. If they come a little bit short, I want them to still be proud of the effort that they put in. And then three, I want us to be able to at least get to that section meet and have good swims.
Package fun with skill development, and the results will hopefully show once the section meet rolls around.
Compared to last year, we got some really good swimmers. They impressed me.
We are gonna shoot for having big time drops, cheering, supporting, having fun, and getting some bodies up on that podium.
For the team, I think a big thing is last year we got 4th place at sections. We're looking for 4th or better this year.
I'm really excited to see how everybody improves, see how the meets go. And it's going to be really interesting once we get to the final couple of meets because everybody's going to have improved a lot. That's when the meets get really, really exciting.
We're really excited for our upcoming meets and seeing how the season plays out.
Always excited to see teams hit the water. And Jerry, we were talking a little bit. This is a program that, like many, has struggled for numbers, but quality over quantity is what most coaches preach.
Yeah, and Coach Shaw is real happy with their captains. She says they're great kids, they're really smart academically, and they're doing a nice job leading the team. And they got a few new bodies this year, so they're happy about that. They're not the numbers they want yet, but at least they got some kids that are moving into the program to build it a little bit this year.
What I like seeing is the camaraderie. Even though there's only 20 swimmers, the fact that they're stick together. They talk about fist bumping when they get out of the pool. They just want to cheer each other on and push each other to swim to their best times.
Yeah, and they're setting a standard for other teams to see too, because they not only support each other, but they're supporting the kids on the other team. If a kid's having a bad meet and has slumpy shoulders, sitting by themselves, they'll actually go over and talk with that young person and say, it's okay, and you're working towards your goals. So I like the fact they're working toward their goals. They get the thing. Well, we don't have the numbers we want, but we have some quality kids. So incrementally, we're just going to work our way towards that end of the year and just get better every week, and we'll see where they're at. I think they might get something done.
Well, we look forward to it. Thanks, Jerry. And, they're not alone, obviously. They will, other teams that are having similar struggles, they host White Bear on Tuesday this week, and then are at Anoka on Thursday, the Bengal Invite on Saturday. So they get their dual meet schedule really going quickly. And the other teams we talk about that are struggling with numbers, Nordic Ski Team is one of those teams that they have. The additional struggle is Mother Nature just has not helped out. Fortunately, it's been cold enough, and they have worked hard enough over at Elm Creek that they do have a 2-kilometer loop. They were able to get their first varsity race in, and JV race for that matter, last week over at Elm Creek. It was a 4K as opposed to a 5K because that's all the snow they've got. Good start for the boys. finishing in 6th place overall. Lachlan Demmer, not surprising to see him up in front of the pack. A 3rd place overall finish, finishing his 4K in just over 10:45. Albie Ludwig was in 15th place, Josh Hyatt 25th. Ryland finished in 46th and Wing in 52nd. On the girls' side, it was a 5th place finish for the team. They had 2 girls finish in the top 10. Law in 8th place and Ruby Demmer in 9th. Megan Fuller was in 48th. Ella Fuller in 53rd, and Legree finished in 56th place. So again, we warmed up again over the winter, maybe not quite as warm as we had the previous weekend, but we had some wetness, and it's going to be a little bit icy and slushy maybe, but it's supposed to get colder again. They are scheduled to have another race at Elm Creek on Thursday this week. Then they're off for a couple of weeks for the holidays.
Yeah, this is similar to a year ago where we had issues where we didn't get a lot of snow right away, and both teams were trying to work around that as the season went on.
Well, especially when you talk about all the teams in the area, and essentially you only have a couple of places that have enough snow to go practice on. And as it is, Coon Rapids team, they just don't, there isn't enough time on that snow for them to go practice as a team. So kids are encouraged to go individually, which doesn't help the building of the numbers, you know, with something that's always going on as an extracurricular. The Alpine ski team obviously also affected a little bit by Mother Nature, but they always have man-made snow over at the what is it, Mountain?
Wild Mountain.
Wild Mountain, that's the one. Thank you, Shapiro. That's where they are on Tuesday night, first race of the year. Then they too are off until after the first. Their next race, race 2, is on Thursday, January the 9th. Boys basketball team had just one game last week, a long road trip to face the Raiders in Hastings last Tuesday. Both teams came in 1-1, looking to start their first win streak of the season. The Raiders had the added advantage and incentive of playing in their home opener. Coach O and his squad hoping to build on their first win, but they would need more offense against the Raiders. They get the big guns going early. Jackson Young has the first points of the game from way outside. He had a game-high 30 points. And Tegan Plowman-Tate wasn't far behind. He breaks a tie early with one of his 4 3-pointers in the game. And the Cardinals fortunate to play with the lead, albeit a small lead for much of that first half. TPT driving baseline 2 of his 26. But the Raiders turn up the intensity after that and reel off 10 unanswered. Marlo Strain's drive put Hastings up by 6, and they build on their lead before the break. Matthew Foss knocking down the 3 from the left wing. He was one of 2 Raiders with 18 points. Hastings up 10 at the half. They don't let up in the second. Kyan Esterby was the other Raider with 18. Those 2 combined for 9 3-pointers. Midway through the second half, Foss again deep in the left corner. That put Hastings up by 15. And that was the difference at the end. Raiders dropped the Cardinals 83-68.
Yeah, a tough loss for them, obviously, on the road. And I actually stopped by basketball practice a little bit today, just to talk to Coach O for a second. And that was basically what it was. And I just asked him, you know, he said it was a tough game. I asked him about Bloomington Jefferson, who we'll talk about in a minute, who they play tomorrow night. He says, really good club. And the cool thing is Connor Jordan and Jackson Hetwer were there, kind of hanging out, watching practice. It's nice to see the alumni come back and offer support to this year's team.
Yeah, especially Jackson, who's off at the next level, going out of state to continue his baseball or his basketball career. So as you mentioned, they will host Bloomington Jefferson on Tuesday. They are at Anoka on Thursday. Girls basketball team had a couple of games, starting with a trip to Big Lake. They were able to get the win on Tuesday, 64-55. Jakaya Palmer had 18 points. Rochelle Cooper had 16. McGrain chipped in 9. Graham and Royal each had 6. And then on Thursday, they lost a close one to Champlain Park, 63-53. A double-double for Aaliyah Graham, 19 points, 12 boards. McGrain had 15 points, 8 steals, and Rochelle Cooper had 13 points, 9 boards, but dramatically falls off after that. Nobody else had over 2 points. You got 3 players in double digits And again, this is a team, we talked about it, a team that's still young, very young, replacing their whole starting lineup. And you got girls just trying to figure out not only their own game, but how they work together as a team.
Yeah, the nice thing is McGrain came over as a transfer, and she's actually contributed really well so far through 5 games. So nice to see that as well.
Well, and they need to get some consistency because it's
well, no, I get it. I get it.
Every girl on that team seems to be going like this early on.
They're getting it all at once.
Yeah, well, if they all come together at the end, that's what you're hoping for. We'll get a chance to see them on Thursday when they host Duluth East, and then they'll play back-to-back at home against Duluth East on Thursday and Anoka on Friday. So a couple of basketball games Tuesday, Thursday, boys against the Jaguars on Tuesday, girls against the Greyhounds on Thursday, and then girls hockey against a highly ranked Minnetonka squad on Saturday afternoon. That's a 3 o'clock start, but that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including Jerry Grant and Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young, saying good night.